Well, guys, we have another review. We're going to be talking about The Monkey today. Now, again, I know I'm late to the party. Some of you guys probably already seen this. If you haven't, then I would say it is on Hulu if you want to check it out. But this movie it was something. So the entire story is wrapped around two characters, two twin brothers between Hal and Billy. You got them as young children, where it starts off. I want to say maybe in the late 70s maybe, but you have Theo James who plays Hal, and he even plays his twin brother Billy. Hal grows up getting picked on massively. His mother's raising him and his brother. He gets picked on in school, and they come across something that their father owned, and it is a toy monkey. And apparently, every time when you turn the key on its back, it does something by eliminating someone in your life or somehow, some way. And it starts off with their babysitter, then it starts off with someone else, and then unfortunately their mother. So they went to go live with their uncle and their aunt, and their uncle unfortunately loses his life as well, and then the aunt raises him, and then he goes into 25 years later. Now again, Hal's grown, he's working, he has a strange son, he has an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend, whatever, and you got Elijah Wood in here who plays as Ted, who is the I don't even know what to say about this character, man. He played a real dick. I mean, again, Elijah Wood really did play a dick because he pretty much was acting like, oh, hey, I'm gonna, adopt your son, and there ain't nothing you can do about it because you're a loser, and, he acts like a professor hippie type guy. And so he goes on this trip with his son for over a week. His son really does not really want nothing to do with him, and he's trying to bond with his actual father, but he does not know how to, and neither does Hal. So Hal kind of goes through the motions, and he starts noticing weird signs. His brother calls him, says, hey, the monkey's back, but they don't know how. So they go through the entirety of trying to track it down. He goes to his aunt's place after she passed away when the monkey apparently killed her, and then he even goes and he tries to find his brother, even though his brother has been in town for several years. And again, if you guys want to get more spoiled, then again, I do recommend clear out the video if you don't care. So we're gonna keep going into spoilers, but we see where Bill became very obsessed with the monkey. He became incredibly obsessed with this thing. He kept turning it, thinking that it would kill his own brother, and he just became obsessed, and he became vengeful because he blamed his brother for their mother's death, and he kept turning it and turning it and turning it, and nothing would happen, and he just kept taking lives. And then as soon as Hal finds out that it's him, he wants, of course, his nephew to come so his nephew can turn the key so he can supposedly take out his own brother. Well, it doesn't go necessarily the way that they plan, because he even goes as far as of the lengths to go ahead and pretty much tries to have his nephew do it, but his nephew does do it, but it doesn't go the way it's planned because it goes after someone else who wants the monkey. So when they're finally able to get in, they have a fight, and they're like, okay, can we just be brothers? And I'm sorry for what happened. And it seems like they're almost about ready to make peace, but unfortunately, Bill loses his life. So then we see where Hal and his son, they go somewhere, and he's like, hey, let's go do this. And he's like, well, why would I do that? And he goes, because because he doesn't want his son to regret knowing about his lineage, because he does not want to know about his lineage. He hates his lineage. That's why he didn't want his son to tell him anything. But now, with everything going on, he's like, okay, I have no choice but to tell you. And that's how the movie ends. And we see like a bunch of people that passed away or died. And what's really crazy is we see this man on a horse, and again, it could be one of the four horsemen as like a funny, but I'm not entirely sure if that was the goal in this film. This film was incredibly weird. It was incredibly weird. It really went to like the past and the present and the future, and there was really no way of knowing what was going on unless you really paid attention. Now, some people like those movies. I'm not a big fan of them because sometimes they get confusing or they don't make sense or the writing's boring or the acting's boring. But most of these characters I really didn't care about. I really felt bad for Hal because, again, how he got picked on a lot as a kid and also how his life was living hell. You know, his father was unknown. He just left him because, again, he dealt with the monkey and he thought about keeping his family safe. His brother treated him like hell for most of his life. His mother died very early in his life, and he was raised by his aunt and his uncle. He lost his uncle, and then his aunt raised him, and then he has a kid that he has to keep away, and he has an ex-wife, girlfriend, whatever, that she got with some idiot, and now he's like, okay, what do I do with my life? And pretty much just going through the motions. But I give Theo James very much of a credit playing two different characters, being able to embody these characters and make these characters come to life. That's really the only person I can give for this performance. He did really well even with the role was given. I'm just going to say this. Hopefully he got paid well because, again, seeing the guy in a few other movies, he's a good actor. But, again, is one of those movies where this movie did not impress me. It did not impress me at all. It was very. I feel like they took a lot of ideas from Final Destination, and I also feel they took a lot of ideas from other movies to try to make it look like it was some possessed toy when it wasn't even really a possessed toy. They pretty much just used that idea and then they mixed it with other things and it just was really weird and just didn't work for me. So I don't see this getting a sequel. If it ever did, I'll be 100% surprised. But what you guys think of this film, let me know about it down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you as always on the very next one.